On Wednesday night. The Oilers win it 4-3 in sudden death overtime. We'll see you in Edmonton. The teams will play in Raleigh Monday for all the marbles of the Stanley Cup of hockey. The Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup.
This is SportsCenter.
Game 7. Can Carolina capture its very first Stanley Cup, or will the Oilers complete an incredible comeback? One loss away from a disastrous collapse. What the Mavs have to do to ensure a Game 7 in Dallas. Plus, the red, white, and blue staying alive in World Cup play. How they plan to get to round 2. Hey everyone, glad you could make it for the latest episode of SportsCenter with Stan Verrett. I'm Matt White. No better way to start a show, or for that matter, end a season, than a Game 7.
The Stanley Cup was in the building in Raleigh. The Canes hoping to finally claim it on their third try in the finals, while the resurgent Oilers were hoping to leave all those folks in red seeing red, wondering how their team squandered a 3-1 series lead. Drop the puck so we can show you how it all went down at the RBC Center. Canes looking for their first cup. Oilers are returning to glory after 5 previous cups. Mike Commodore getting his mind right. First period, less than 2 minutes in, Mark Recchi throws the puck out in front. Aaron Ward waiting on it, slaps it through traffic, and it's 1-0 Canes. Ward's second goal of the playoffs. Final seconds of the period, delayed penalty coming on the Oilers. Craig Adams flips the puck up over UC Marketing. Steve Staios dives in the goal trying to block it. Hurricanes think it's a goal, but wait a minute. Did Staios cover the puck in the crease? That's the question. If so, it should be a penalty shot. Hurricanes owner Peter Carmanos wants a penalty shot. They take a look up in the booth, and the refs say no goal. Here's an angle they didn't see in the booth, however. The puck underneath Staios in the goal should have been a goal or at least a penalty shot, and Peter Laviolette thought so. Second period, Hurricanes up 1-0 on the power play. Francis Caberlet, slap shot, and he puts it past Marketing. It's 2-0 Canes. Caberlet's fourth in the playoffs. They can taste the cup in Raleigh. Third period, Oilers down 2-0 on the rush. Cam Ward makes the initial stops, but there's Fernando Pisani. What a postseason he had. 18 regular season goals, 14 in the playoffs. It's 2-1 Canes. Late third period, Rafi Torres with a shot. Ward able to block it. Pisani there with a rebound, but Ward with another block. Great save by the rookie goalie. Just over a minute left now. Oilers empty net. Chuck Caton has the call from here.
Oh, gets it up the middle to Williams. He's walking in on an open net, and he won the Stanley Cup. Justin Williams has won the Stanley Cup for the Carolina Hurricanes.
It is time to celebrate in Raleigh. They'll party till the parade on Tuesday night. And finally, after 16 NHL seasons, Rod Brindamore is Tobacco Road's Ray Bourque, finally hoisting the cup in the twilight of his career. Glenn Wesley getting a cup late in his career as well after 18 seasons. Canes make sure that cup isn't going to leave their building, and their rookie goaltender made sure that the Conn Smythe Trophy would be there too. Ward with 22 saves to help his team finish the job in Game 7. The Oilers weren't assured a playoff berth until the last day of the regular season, and their run comes to an end on the last day of the playoffs. And nothing could be finer for Carolina.
Tough to explain, to be honest with you. We've been through a lot. There's so many guys on this team that just, I mean, the years and the ache. And after Game 6, I just kept thinking, man, there's just no way we can let this go. These guys, there's too many guys that deserve this.
Well, I knew they were coming. I've been around long enough to know that a team doesn't get to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals by being wallflowers. Motivation is ever too much of an issue in Game 7, but they had something to prove and came out like that.
After we lost Game 6, Roddy stood up in the locker room, and I never ever elaborated on what was said in the locker room, but he said something that we were like glue, and we had to stay like glue. And I'll tell you what, Game 7 in our building, there was no way that we were going to lose.
Great for the veterans, but how about the rookie? Ward becomes the fourth rookie to win the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. All of them goaltenders. The last to do it was Ron Hextall in '87, but his team lost to the Edmonton Oilers. Patrick Waugh and Ken Dryden each won it in their rookie seasons for the Canadiens. Steve Levy and Barry Melrose now with more from Raleigh.
Stan, thanks very much. Carolina was on the verge of an all-time sports collapse, having blown a 3-1 series lead. After that performance in Game 6, Barry, how did they rally to win the Cup in Game 7?
Well, first off, you got to give Peter Laviolette a lot of credit because he had his team ready to play Game 7 after that debacle in Game 6. That tells me he knows what his team needs, whether it's a kick in the butt, whether it's a pat in the back. Everybody was jumping at the start of the game. They took it to Edmonton physically, which they didn't do in Game 6. Edmonton usually does that to whoever they play. Carolina came out, hit everything that moved, went to the front of the net, got lots of shots, things they haven't been doing in the last couple of games, and it completely changed the flow of the game. It also looked like it caught Edmonton by surprise early on.
So many great stories for Carolina. Eric Cole, nearly paralyzed, comes back to play in the Stanley Cup Finals. Glenn Wesley gets to take his name off the list of all-time games played without winning the Stanley Cup. What stood out to you?
Oh, Cam Ward. You kidding? A goaltender, 22 years old, starts the playoffs on the bench against Montreal, thinking he won't play, ends up getting 15 wins, winning the Conn Smythe, only the third rookie ever to do that. Cam Ward, to me, is the biggest surprise and biggest story of these playoffs.
Tobacco Road, traditionally known as a house divided when it comes to sports loyalty. However, they can all agree now on their Carolina Hurricanes Stanley Cup champs. I look forward to your coverage in Vancouver of the draft, Barry.
I'm not going back.
Barry and
I'm going home.
Barry and I will be back later in SportsCenter. We'll talk with 22-year-old rookie Cam Ward, the playoff MVP and Stanley Cup champ. Stand back to you.
Okay, guys, college sports have always been big in Carolina, but the Hurricanes' first Stanley Cup is the first title for the state of North Carolina in the four major professional sports. Ward becomes the sixth rookie goaltender in NHL history to win 4 games in the Stanley Cup Finals, the first since Patrick Waugh in 1986. Mark Recchi, part of a second Stanley Cup winning team, and the first since he was on the 1991 Penguins. The 15-year span between cups, the longest for any player in Stanley Cup history. And how about Glenn Wesley? We mentioned him. The 169th playoff game of Glenn Wesley's career ends with his name finally going on the Stanley Cup.